narrative game has been activated. Okay, we are on.
Yeah, Cookie, I took a poll in the office, and we all thought that Gravity was worth seeing in the theater.
Okay, agree to disagree. I thought it was way better on my iPod Shuffle.
Can someone please mop up that melted bronze? Someone's gonna step in
then
that.
she's like, don't give me the office birthday card if there's nowhere left to sign it. She's like, where am I supposed to sign it? On the back, next to the credits, like a dog?
And if we could refrain from any sort of offensive language on set, that would be great. We don't want to single out any groups. So again, if everyone could just refrain from any offensive slurs or language. Thank you.
Hey gang, have you felt tired from all that racket and ballyhoo from the so-called music festivals that the teenage beatniks and ruffians do? Or isn't it time to hop to having the music festival that goddamn plays real music that mature adults and grown-up older people like all of us and you can enjoy? Then come on down to the Hutchinson Community Park.
This is You Don't Know Jack 2015. I'm your host, Cookie Masterson. And hey, wipe that smile off your face. This is serious. Okay, just kidding. There will be farts and stuff. It's nice to know you'll both have a shoulder to cry on when you utterly fail at this game. You all take care of those screws now. If you think an opponent doesn't know the answer, hit your screw button and you'll force them to answer immediately. If they miss it, you win big. And today's wrong answer of the game is being brought to you by
the San Francisco Otter Choir. Free concerts every Wednesday, except for mating season.
Find the wrong answer associated with our sponsor to get yourself some sweet prizes and bonus cash. And we're off.
Get ready, time for question.
First, Bootyful. Let's analyze one of Kim Kardashian's body parts. About what percentage of Kim Kardashian's brain is just made up of water? 10%, 40%, 80%, or 100%? Players 1 and 2? Kim Kardashian's brain, and everybody else's brain for that matter, is made up of about 80% water. But that other 20% is just so round and firm, I can't stop thinking about it. Here's one for you. His acting is alright. So, you know how they called Matthew McConaughey's resurgence as an actor his McConaissance? Well, if Matthew McConaughey is currently experiencing a McConaissance, then what period of his life just ended? McCona Industrial Age, the McCona Middle Ages, or the McCona Enlightenment Age? Players 1 and 2? The Renaissance first occurred in Italy in the late 14th century, immediately following the Middle Ages. So the McConaissance would follow the McCona Middle Ages. Which is funny because most Renaissance sculptures also need to put on a damn shirt.
Dance with me, Disco 3.
Pucker up for, brought to you by the letter U-nibrow.
It's the put the choices into order, then buzz in and see if you are right. Question.
And if you get this one right, I'll rustle up some extra moolah for you. Arrange these Sesame Street characters in order of fewest to most eyebrows. Bert, Ernie, the Count. Ernie, Bert, the Count. Bert, Ernie, the Count. The Count, Bert, Ernie, or Ernie, the Count, Bert. Player 2, watch that clock. Player 1. Nuh-uh. Allow me. Ernie has no eyebrows at all, Bert has one long single eyebrow, and the Count has two eyebrows! And yet, none of them have ever blinked. Why not try Duck Duck Swan? Say the cast of Duck Dynasty attends a performance of Swan Lake and thinks there are real waterfowl on stage. In their confusion, which character would they most likely shoot? Siegfried, Benno, Von Rothbart, or Odette? Players 1 and 2. Odette is a princess who has been turned into a swan, so the Duck Dynasty crew would probably fill her full of lead. Especially if they find out she once fooled around with a lady swan in college. I'm going to read off 7 things, and for each one you tell me if it's an alleged antic by pop star Justin Bieber, or an antic by the classic children's book character Curious George. If it's Justin Bieber, press the square button. If it's Curious George, press the circle button. Player 2, lock in your answer before player 1, because if player 1 gets it wrong and you... broke his leg falling from a fire escape. Arrested for falsely reporting a fire. At the house. Got high on ether. Fed a bugle to an ostrich. Went to a Brazilian brothel. You were a couple of bananas short of a bunch. I think we can all agree that it's time for that little bastard to get deported. And then it's your turn, Bieber. That's all we got for round 1. Keep in mind, in round 2, everything is worth twice as much. And don't forget, our wrong answer to the game is still out there waiting to be picked. Let's see what's in store. And on its way, Dumber and Dumberer 2. So there's Dumb and Dumber, and then there was Dumb and Dumberer, and then Dumb and Dumber 2. Makes perfect sense. Now, going back a few decades, there was The Odd Couple and The Odd Couple 2. So, if another remake of The Odd Couple used the superlative adjective, it would be called The Blank Couple. Odd, odder, oddest, or odderest. Player 2 time's running out. Player 1. Odd is the adjective, odder is the comparative adjective, and oddest is the superlative adjective. But of course, everyone who made the original Odd Couple movies is dead, which means it's the perfect time for Rob Schneider to swoop in and revitalize the franchise. Player 2. No, but speaking of otter, get it? You just won the greatest hits of the San Francisco Otter Choir. Hailed as one of the top 3 otter choirs in the world, the San Francisco Otter Choir will astound you with their covers of Little Red Corvette and The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Today's wrong answer of the game is accompanied by an $8,000 cash bonus. Have at it.
Question 7. Get up and shake your monkey bang.
Take a stab at Let It Go, Let It Go, Let It Go. At which temperature would Olaf from the movie Frozen melt and die? 30 degrees Kelvin, 30 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 degrees Celsius, or 30 degrees Rankine? He's a snowman. Players 1 and 2. 30 degrees is below freezing in Fahrenheit and insanely below freezing in Kelvin and Rankine. But it's pretty balmy in Celsius, about the equivalent of 86 degrees Fahrenheit. And I know, blah blah blah, he can magically be saved, but I'm talking about what would happen in the real world to a talking snowman.
Follow me down to the sea.
This one's called Kangaroo, Peanut, Albert Einstein, or Uranus.
Kangaroo, peanut, Albert Einstein, or Uranus.
First spotted in 1879. Kangaroo, Peanuts, Albert Einstein, or Uranus. Player 2, you've been screwed. You got 5 seconds. Albert Einstein was first spotted in 1879, the year he was born. Probably by a midwife or something, over a century after Uranus was discovered and even longer after kangaroos and peanuts. I've heard baby Einstein cried a lot because he left behind some important equations on the uterine wall. Player 1, you are now the screwee. It's time for Wine or Lose. If the Washington Redskins rebranded themselves with a non-offensive red-skinned mascot, what could they be called? The Washington Chardonnays, the Washington Malbecs, the Washington Pinot Blancs, or the Washington Rieslings? Goodness, player 1, you're screwed. You got 5 seconds to give me an answer. Chardonnays, Pinot Blancs, and Rieslings are all white-skinned grapes, but the Malbec grape is red. Although to a connoisseur like myself, Malbec is very offensive. Oh yes, I do say that was quite a burn. Hate to break the news to you, player 2. Coming up next, I want to lick and roll all night. If Kiss singer Gene Simmons' tongue grew to the average length of an adult giraffe's, how deep into a woman's mouth could he stick it when he kissed her? About 5 inches deep, about 10 inches deep, about 20 inches deep, or about 30 inches deep? Player 2. Player 1. An adult giraffe's tongue is on average about 18 to 20 inches long. So that's about how deep into a woman's mouth a giraffe-tongued Gene Simmons could stick it. And if Gene Simmons' neck grew to the length of an adult giraffe's, he may not even need women anymore. Step right up to the Jack Attack. When you see 2 clues that match, press the X button. 2,000 big ones if you're right, but if you're wrong, you lose 2,000. And one more thing.
Remember the clue.
It's gotta be a match that fits this clue. Your house is made of what? What materials are their houses made from? Good luck. congratulations on a clean win. Player 2, you should be ashamed of yourself for taking such an obvious dive. Have you no dignity? And another thing.
You don't know Jack!
Hi, I'm Kyle Pepper, and ever since I was a little boy, I wanted to be a professional baseball player. Well, now I'm 36 and going nowhere fast.